Nine Parchments is a co-op blast-em-up magical adventure created by the makers of the Trine series, Frozenbyte. The game gives off some of those Magicka vibes, but coupled with more meta progression and easier spellcasting. The whole game revolves around collecting these lost 9 parchments and returning them back to the academy. It's a co-op game that can give you some laughs and fun coupled with some serious moments. Let's take a look at the game. Alright, first thing off. 9 Parchments is actually a game which benefits when you play with other people. I've seen some questionable reviews around why is this game multiplayer, I can't play a single player. Well, it's advertised as a co-op, so there's your answer. This is because, like in Magicka, you do get more benefits for combining spells with other team members to do more damage and to come up with fancy combinations. Some of the monsters in the game also have resistances to certain spells, and so it's a lot easier when you're working with a party. Like in Magicka, you do get a variety of elements, from ice, fire, and even death, and as you progress the game, you pick up more spells to add to your library. The game is a lot more friendlier than Magicka in my opinion. The ability to blink as a separate spell that everyone has, and your spells are key-binded for easier access, unlike Magicka where you need to combine the spells to create certain combinations, so it's a lot friendlier for non-gamers. The developers purposely put in friendly fire and screen lock, and that's what makes the game fun. The fact you have to move together and not troll each other, which inevitably happens in the beginning of the game especially, is in my opinion what actually makes the game pretty fun. I've seen a lot of negative reviews due to these two reasons, and personally I find it kind of dumb that they will complain about this. If you look at some of the Steam reviews, these are two of the pretty common reasons that pop up, so if you don't mind this, the game is actually very positive. The only other negative thing I would note about this game, not including anything to do with the story, is the fact you only start off with 2 characters, which feels like they should have included at least 4, because you can play with 4 people, so I feel like that's a bit of a gap. The ending might not be the best, and certainly it's a bit lackluster, but it's still pretty fun, and if you're really playing this game for the story, you're probably looking at the wrong genre of games. In my opinion, this game has around 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, but obviously it can get a lot more if you're playing hardcore or if you're going with a whole completionist style of playing the game. In my opinion, this game balances out the roles quite well. In my playthrough, I was a combination of a control and healer mage, whilst others focused on damage, and other person focused on full healing. Playing on a hardcore gameplay, in my opinion, is mega fun as it gives the extra need to try hard, but I will at least recommend playing on the hard difficulty for a bit more of a challenge. This is definitely a game you can bring your kids or non-gamers into, as controls are quite intuitive and everyone will get a blast out from combining spells, but also the really pretty graphics of the game. Every co-op game I look at, I take a look at how easy is it to set up multiplayer, and does it get annoying over time. At first glance, it's pretty easy to set up multiplayer. If you're playing online, you can simply join a lobby through Steam, or go through the multiplayer lobby screen. The game also supports couch co-op sessions, so if you're into that, there's always a plus. Now, I have heard of multiplayer save files being corrupted. I'm not entirely sure why this happens, as I haven't had this personally happen to me, but I've heard of people's files being corrupted. There's a lot of negative Steam reviews on this, so just keep an eye on that. If you're extra cautious, perhaps making a save file might be the answer, but I've never had issues, so I'm not too sure. In my opinion, the co-op is pretty easy to set up, so in my opinion that's a tick in the box, but make sure you keep an eye on this. So final thoughts. I think 9 Parchments pleasantly surprised me. Magicka, in my opinion, got pretty boring, pretty fast, and what 9 Parchment does well is, in my opinion, is the game progresses at right intervals to provide you new bosses to kill and gives you new spells, which makes the game more enjoyable without becoming too boring too fast. I think this game is super nifty, and it's great to try with friends, but as recommended, I do recommend trying it with friends because it is a co-op game, so you might not have fun if you're trying it single player. Thanks for tuning in, and throw a like and subscribe, and see you next time.